Okay, so how do you shift from being in a primal state to being in a more powerful state? My name is Kristen Anker, your parent and teacher empowerment coach. And this week in the Women's Empowerment Circle, we were talking about the two states of being. You can either be in a primal state of being, which is that freeze, fight, flight response, usually maybe when we're angry, when we're jealous, when we're feeling not good enough, all the feelings that kind of feel bad. Or you could be in a powerful state of being. And that powerful state of being is when you're in that parasympathetic nervous system. And you're in this state of rest, relaxation, calm. And this is where all our creativity comes from. This is where we're able to be courageous. We're able to love, have compassion, have empathy. And you can only be in one state or the other. So how do we shift when we know we are in that primal state? We know we're not feeling good. We know when our brain is going like out of control. So I'm going to give you 5 tips today. And these are just really kind of quick fixes. But really, we know that we have to get to the deep down root of the thought that's really putting us there. But a first tool would be to focus on our breath. Because usually when you're in that sympathetic nervous system, you're probably not breathing. You're probably either holding your breath or just, in that hyperventilating state. So how can we focus on our breath? And one thing that I've learned is we're going to be working with the vagus nerve. So if you can breathe in for 4 seconds, breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. You're going to pause for 4 seconds, and then you're going to breathe out longer than you breathed in. So usually I like to breathe out for about 6 seconds. So you're breathing in for 4, you're pausing for 4, and then you're going to breathe out for 6 seconds. And sometimes I even use the mantra, breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in, breathing out. I allow my body to release tension. Breathing in, and try to do it maybe 5 to 10 times to have your vagus nerve work to help you to get back into the parasympathetic or the powerful state. Another idea, so a second tool is going to be movement. And we're going to have to move. We're going to have to shift the energy somehow. So I'm not going to show it to you now, but one thing that was taught to me a few years ago from a positive psychologist was the breath of joy. And I've also done the breath of joy in a lot of Kundalini yoga classes. So that's when we're able to, you're standing up. I can't even show you now because I'm sitting down, but you're standing up and you're breathing in and you're breathing in and then you're breathing out. And you do this 10 times. And it's actually something I'm starting to put into my morning routine. And I'm doing this breath of joy. Maybe it's just movement. You're moving out of a situation. You're moving out of the surroundings. The next tip, which works in with movement, is can you get out in nature? Can you move yourself out of the house or move yourself out of your office? Can you get out in nature? And it's actually only 12 minutes. If you can be out in nature for 12 minutes a day, you will see a difference with your mental state. So when you're out in nature, a grounding practice that was taught to me by a few people now. Actually, first my colleague Gail Costello, who's an experienced social worker and therapist. She did this with our Girl Scout troop. And I loved it. And it was a mindful walk through nature. And then I also got the same idea from this guy, Jay Shetty. I love listening to his podcast, the On Purpose podcast, and I'm now reading his book, Think Like a Monk. So it's going to be a mindful walk. And so you think about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5, you're going to think, well, what are 5 things that you can see? So we're trying to ground ourselves. We're trying to be in nature. We're trying to get out of our thoughts that are putting us in the primal state. And you're going to just say 5 things that you can see. And then 4 things that you can touch. So maybe when you're out in nature, you're touching the bark. You're touching a leaf. you're touching the grass. You're touching a beautiful flower. And then 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste. And maybe the taste is even, you could taste the toothpaste in your mouth or something. But really being aware of your 5 senses, it's a grounding practice, but also getting out in nature is so important. And then the 4th tool, and this is going to be a little bit more advanced, but this is the self-awareness that we're working on, is really being mindful of those thoughts. Because what we've learned with the 2 states of being, when you're in that primal state, the only thing that's putting you in a primal state are your thoughts. Your thoughts or the story that you're making up in your head. So if we can be more self-aware of those thoughts, like what is it that we're thinking that's putting us in a primal state? And sometimes, and I talked about it in the Women's Empowerment Circle, is something that I work on is the primal state that I go into a lot is overwhelm. And I'm really working on that. So, and it's not really my situation that is overwhelm. I could say like, oh, I have 3 children in 3 different schools. I have a lot to do. It's not. It's the story that I make up in my head that this is hard. And that's what I need to work on, is that story. So really being aware of your thoughts and know that suffering does not happen in the natural world. Suffering is something that us human beings created, and we created it with our thoughts. So if we can really be aware, have that self-awareness of what are we thinking, and then take a look at that thought. And if it is unintelligent, which is what I'm trying to get you to believe, can we flip it to the opposite? Or what type of thought is more useful for us? That's going to help us to grow. That's going to help us to get into that powerful state. So really just being mindful of what the thought is that's putting you into the primal state, and maybe flipping it to the exact opposite. And then the 5th tool of how to shift from a primal state of maybe fear, anxiety, and worry into a more powerful state of calm, courage, confidence, it will be gratitude. And gratitude is something we're going to work on more in the Women's Empowerment Circle. But gratitude is a very quick and easy shift of our thoughts again. What can you be grateful for in the moment? What can you be grateful for in your life? What can you be grateful for? Even if it looks like everything else in the world is a little out of control, what is in your control? And it's your thoughts. It's your thoughts about your life, your thoughts about your relationships, your thoughts about your children, your thoughts about things. We need to really be so aware of these thoughts and bring in more positive thoughts. And the positive thoughts usually come through this idea of gratitude. And gratitude is a really, really powerful tool that can help us to feel better, because people do better when they feel better. And it allows us to get into a more powerful state. Because remember, you can only be in one state or the other. And to create a life that you love, you need to be in a powerful state. So my name is Kristen Anker. I'm here for any questions, but I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.